in a party, chocolate Barbie waiting on me for yo.
Oh, hey, sorry about that. Hey, I'm Matt Hogan with Element Real Estate, and today we're going to take a look at the housing market on the Coastside in 2021. So let's jump right in. You ready? Okay. So first thing is pricing. What happened to prices? So in the Coastside, prices were way up. That's the bottom line. We got to take a look back a year further into 2020, where we saw a huge increase in prices. That trend continued in 2021. Essentially, in 2 years, we went from a median sales price on the Coastside of $1.245 million to $1.6 million. I threw in Pacifica and San Mateo County as a point of context. You can see they also had growth. Not quite the same growth. We'll dive into that in just a minute here. So let's take a look. So to understand 2021, we really need to look at 2020, which is when COVID started to really impact our local market. And when I say Coastside is Pacifica, Montara, Moss Beach, and Granada. What happened in 2020 is my observations is there were three market-driven factors from COVID. And the first one is that, well, it's work from home, right? Most everybody was working from home. This allowed home buyers to consider areas that they wouldn't otherwise have considered to move based upon commute time. So that's one really obvious driver of house price increases on the Coastside. Number two is that everything was closed. We were shut down essentially for 3 months. No ball games, no kids sports, no malls. One area that remained open was the beach, and you guys that live on the coast were able to see that firsthand by the number of people that came over on the weekends. And in fact, it feels like during the weekday as well, has grown double in the past couple of years. And these people that have rediscovered the Coastside, if you will, realize it's not such a bad place to live and or to be. They don't want to leave. So that's factor number two. A whole new cohort of buyers have discovered, if you will, the Coastside. And the third factor is just a general priority for home buyers to have more space, more open spaces than, say, 2019 and earlier. And Coastside is one of those areas that, well, one of the best resources we have is just tons of open space. And you can see that demonstrated here in this graph, looking at the 2020 growth of San Francisco, 3%, Coastside, 14%. So it gives you an idea of a little bit of where the money was flowing from high density communities to lower density communities like the Coastside. Side note, Half Moon Bay Coastside had the biggest appreciation of any community in San Mateo County in 2020. So we were up over 14%, and certainly the highest appreciation we had in any 1 year in many, many years for us. So let's take a look at 2021 last year. So again, another big increase in prices on the Coastside, up almost 12%. The difference here, though, is that the other communities, they started to catch up. So while we blew everybody out in terms of appreciation in 2020, we were sort of on par with the average appreciation in 2021. And you can see that San Mateo County just crushed it as a whole in 2021 in terms of pricing. Having said that, if you look at the price increase for the 2 years combined at San Mateo County, which is 17.5% plus roughly 7.5%, and you look at our appreciation, 14.4% plus almost 12%, we're about the same as San Mateo County as related to appreciation in the 2 year run. So their trend of house price appreciation, big house price appreciation, really started in 2021. Where the Coastside really started in 2020, and that's what you can see here. Another big driver of what's happening in the markets on the Coastside that's been going on in the past year, almost 2 years now, is that agents and sellers adopted a tactic of listing their homes lower than market value. And they do that in order to generate more interest, more offers. They have more leverage against buyers. When multiple buyers want to buy their house at the same time, sellers get better terms. And of course, prices go up and days on market go down, which we'll talk about in a minute. So this graph here is the ratio between the list price of a house and what it actually sold at. So if you look at, let's take a look at 2019 on the Coastside, 96.8%. That means on average, if a house was listed for $1 million, it sold for $968,000. Now, if you fast forward to last year, 2021, that same house that listed for $1 million would have sold on average for $1,055,000. So long story short, agents, sellers pricing homes lower, which basically means more offers, which means the homes are going to sell higher than the ask price. That was a trend that has been utilized in Pacifica and more or less in San Mateo County as a whole for a couple of years, and you can see it in their graphs. Their sales to list price ratio has been pretty high. Started to catch on with us at the end of 2020 and into 2021. So when you price homes lower, they sell faster, right? Basic common sense. And you can see that that's exactly what has been happening the past couple of years for us on the coast side. 22 days on average to sell a house. That means the day you list it to the day you accept an offer. That's 2019, way down to 12 in 2020, and then unfathomably fast in 2020 with 10 days on market. When that happens, inventory turns over faster. This is a metric that I look at. It's called months of inventory. And basically, the lower the number, the faster the market is turning over, the faster the available inventory that comes on the market is gone. If you look here, 0.93 in 2021, basically it means all the homes that come to a market in a month are basically gone within a 1 month time frame. Very, very fast. Take a look at a couple years back. That number was well over double what it is now. So inventory is turning over much faster, but it doesn't mean that we're selling more homes. So this is the actual homes that were sold by year. So you look at the coast side, about the same, 270-ish. And then in 2020, we had about a 10% jump, sold almost 300 homes. Now, what's happening here? Well, you have opportunistic sellers. You have people that have been considering selling for a while, realized the market was very, very hot, and decided, listen, it's time to list our house now and sell it. And that happened in 2020. So we saw an increase in homes sold in 2020. Last year, that back down to, again, about where it has been for a few years, 270-ish. Pacifica, big, I don't know if I call it a problem here, but a big anomaly here. The number of homes sold has been dropping precipitously per year. In fact, in 4 years, going from almost 400 homes sold to other 300 homes sold last year. I don't know the real driver for that. I haven't dived into it, but I will and produce a video about that later. And San Mateo County as a whole, you can see was more or less flat. And then in 2021 here, had a big increase in the number of homes sold, almost 20%. Again, I think we can chalk that up to the fact that the COVID factors that affected the local coastside housing market in 2020 really didn't start to come into play in San Mateo County as a whole until 2021. So this again drove a lot more opportunistic sellers in 2021, and San Mateo County sold a lot of homes. If I were to wrap up the last couple of years in a couple sentences, I would say record-breaking price increases on the coast. 2020, coast became the flavor du jour in terms of communities for people to want to relocate to. And that just means homes sold faster for more money in less days. Well, less days is faster. I do have some words to say on 2022, but I'm going to make another video on that because that's a different topic. So thanks for chiming in, watching my video. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And you guys have hopefully a really, really awesome year. Thanks.
Making a party, chocolate Barbie, waiting on me for